Sean Hibbeler of Hibbeler Productions. I saw him recently on the great Sam Tripoli's broadcast with Alex Jones and Eddie Bravo, who I'd love to get on one day as well. Very funny guy, but it was a very interesting show. And I've always been intrigued by this subject. I'm open to anything, and I've always had problems with the spinning ball theory. Let's put it that way. And I know we've been lied to about everything, so I'm open to all this. So, Sean Hibbeler, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Don. I appreciate it. The way YouTube was in 2014, 2015, 2016, the way it was normal, I had related videos coming up, and as I'm researching plant-based stuff and what milk does to the body, all those types of videos, at the time I had a related video pop up that kept popping up in my feed. Eric Dubay, 200 proofs there's not a spinning ball. And I'm like, well, what? Spinning ball. I'm like, what is this? What does this mean? What? It was just kind of a general interest of, okay, let me just watch this and see if I can debunk it and move on. Couldn't debunk it. I'm up for weeks just trying to dissect everything that was said. And then I went back and I'm like, okay, what is this called? What is this theory called? And then it says flat Earth, and I'm like, okay, flat Earth. I'm like, let me look it up on YouTube. Let me see if there's anything else. Now, at least back then, you typed in flat Earth and you got real. You got real content from content creators speaking on the topic. So I, stumbled upon a gentleman named ODD TV, who's a great producer, just like Eric was at the time. And it was just like, whoa, all this stuff started popping up. So I started watching all these videos and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, okay, screw this noise, screw all this. Let me just try to prove the globe to myself. That's it. Anybody can get in your head about anything and start rewiring how you feel. So I said, I need to trust myself, not anybody else. So that was it really. I just, a week, maybe 2 weeks straight of, let me find real. Yeah, go ahead.
So once you realize, okay, they lied to you about something that big, that's a pretty big lie. And say we went to the moon 6 times or whatever, and we can't go back today because we've lost the technology. I think that's the bridge. Looking at, are we actually, is there space? Are the planets real? Is there something really going to Mars? Is there a craft really going to the end of the universe and taking pictures of Jupiter and Saturn? I mean, as a big astronomy buff, it was a big disappointment to me. But so you kind of bypassed that altogether. You went right to flat Earth. What?
Well, not necessarily though, because again, I went right back into I'm going to NASA's website at that time. I'm going to NASA's website. All the hope in me staying on this heliocentric nightmare was in NASA's hands at that time. I went to their website and I'm just, why are these all cartoons, man? Like, come on, these are all cartoons. I'm not. And I don't get why the people that believe in this BS theory of a globe, they see the same stuff as me. What kind of eyeballs do you have, bro? Like, this is cartoons. Yeah. None of this is real, and they just can't get over that. Oh, they're not gonna lie. It's too big of a lie. It's like, no, it's not. Like,
whoa! Whether it's the moon landing or something like trying to prove what the Earth really is. We have this technology supposedly. So at this point, I would think that you would have like a 24-hour spinning globe network, like the old Universal Studios.
Camera on the moon. Throw a camera on your little rock, apparently, right?
Yeah. Well, that Hubble telescope that we have on the space station, which goes nowhere near space, but they call it space station. Why don't they ever turn that towards the Earth or towards the moon?
Because they're not up there, Don. They're not up there.
Exactly. Well, it's pretty obvious
for your audience to understand what Apollo missions were, especially the first one, Neil Armstrong and all those clowns. The whole point of that, all of it, the 15 years of pre-programming from Walt Disney and his crew and NASA and getting this treaty signed and making sure everything was set up, ready to go for their plan. 15 years of pre-programming with outer space documentaries. No one's ever been there yet, but yet they're showing you all this stuff. And then when they actually fake the real moon missions, most people were already programmed that it was going to happen. It was all black, white, grainy. Apparently they're on the phone with the president. Everybody's buying it. Everybody's buying it apparently. But for your audience to understand, the reason for that event, the reason they faked it, the reason they did that, there's no other reason besides to reinforce that we live on a ball. That's it. Because up to that point, they had nothing. They had nothing. They had to do something because schools were fighting 20s and the 30s and even into the 40s. They were fighting having to teach this crap in the schools. They were fighting it. They did not want to do it. People were getting persecuted for even trying to teach the globe. And this is the 20s and 30s. Possibly the 40s too. They were teaching flat earth in public school in the 20s, 30s, 40s. I've even heard 50s and 60s. They shadow ban it, so you can't type in, flat earth documentary on YouTube. Nothing's going to come up. It's going to be the same results as you get if you type in flat earth sunsets or the flat earth theory. It's the same crap that comes up. It's CNN, it's BBC, it's NBC, Comedy Central, all these damage control clowns that come up, and their only job was to debunk the flat earth and make fun of it. Hopefully people don't go to page 100, and then maybe they'll start seeing us real content creators speak about the truth. That's the problem, is they make it impossible for any normal person to actually get some research and make their own conclusion. Isn't that weird? Should they be able to look for themselves? But they can't anymore. They used to. Now, no. You can't. Yeah, I don't tell people to research flat earth anymore. It's an impossible feat.
Yeah, no, it is. Well, it's I think, you have to ask, first of all, you ask what are your senses? When you're anyone walking around, there's nobody, I don't think, that has ever lived that is walking around the earth and is cognizant or even thinking they're on a spinning ball that's rotating at an incomprehensible rate while also zipping through an endless universe at an unbelievable speed. But, this is all tied up with things like gravity. I mean, it's, what's this? I mean, how I've tried to tell people, how are these huge bodies of water held down, but a bird or even a butterfly isn't? That's a real magical.
Like a helium balloon.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yes.
Why does a ping pong ball float in the ocean, but a golf ball sinks? This is all sorted out with density and buoyancy. All of it. It's always been sorted out with density and buoyancy, and it always will be. They came up with gravity because they needed to come up with something to protect their ball, their fantasy. Because you think about children. Why do you think we're taught this in kindergarten, first grade, and second grade, and then it's over? You don't go back. You're not a senior in high school talking about Earth curvature. Are you kidding me?
No.
People high schoolers are too critically thinking people to deal with that crap. There'd be a lot of debating, especially nowadays, of course. But originally, since day one, they teach you as a little kid, because you already believe in Santa and the Tooth Fairy. You just throw this one in. The difference is your parents never told you that the globe wasn't real. They told you Santa and the Tooth Fairy weren't. I hope. But I'm just here to tell people that your globe, your little ball, is not real either. I'm sorry to take your ball away, but it's just not real. You have to give it up. Give your ball up. You'll feel so much better. You can take your power back. You know that you are one with the earth. You're the center of creation. Everything is revolving around us. Everything above us is made for us via energy frequencies. People don't know this. That's why they don't look at the sun. Don't look at the sun. I look at the sun almost every day. Any 9/11 documentary on Netflix, it's their goal with their conspiracy theory Netflix documentaries are a backup conspiracy. Like, oh, Bush knew. And that's the whole point of the film. It's like, really? That's the most stupidest conspiracy. Of course he knew, but who cares? There's so much more to it. They're not going to talk about 7 buildings collapsing that day. Then I'll watch it. Someone's like, hey, they're talking about 7 buildings collapsing on Netflix. Okay, I'll take a look, because that's true. They won't touch that.
No, they're not going to. And that's why, again, people, I think you open your mind to this.
Something's happening in this world. Something's changing. We all feel it. We don't know what it is, what direction to point to. We all have different assumptions of what's happening. Some are fear-based and some are positive. I like the positive ones, that we're going to win this war and the world's going to be good again. But if you don't know where you live, how can you know who you are? How do you know? How do you know who you are? How do you know how much power you have? They strip that away from us. They don't want you to know how powerful we are, how you can manifest your own future, your own reality. You have the connections with the bodies above you, surrounding you at all times, giving you energy and frequencies and vibrations at all times. It's surrounding. It's a perfect clock in the sky. You have to look into these people. You were taught in school that thousands of years ago, these guys, they figured it out with a stick and shadow. We swear by it. Have you looked into finding these people's, I call them characters. Have you found these characters' names in books before the 1900s? Please send me a link. No, all these people are new. These are new characters. When Rockefeller took over the educational system, they started the Board of Education in 1920, around that time. Ever since then, they were trying to get rid of flat Earth. That's all. There was no globe and flat discussion before 1920. There was zero of it. No one even knew the globe existed. There was no theory that was coming up. This is all, in my opinion, about Rockefeller coming over and want to take over the whole school system, indoctrinate the world. I mean, he's the one that quoted saying this, not me. He said this, that he'd rather have a nation of workers and not a nation of thinkers. They wanted to build a society inside of
he succeeded. He certainly succeeded, didn't he?
Unfortunately, he did. But the base of that, the start of their New World Order that they're trying to end now, and they're gonna fucking fail miserably. But the start of this New World Order was this ball idea. And once they started exploring Antarctica and found more land, that was it. They said, okay, no one's going to be able to go around here, period. If you want to spend 20 grand, you can go to a little peninsula. They bring out the whole public to. You're there for a week, and then you go home. You're not exploring anywhere out here because, you stumble upon a new continent. Why would you want to live in this taxed slave system that we live in? Come on. No one. We'd all leave tomorrow, but nobody knows about this shit. That's the problem. Nobody knows.
People are afraid, really, I think, to even explore something that challenges their paradigm, of which I'm not. So again, I'm open-minded. I'm an agnostic for the most part because I don't know. I cannot prove what we are on because I've never gone into space. I've never gone, or whatever you consider above the firmament or whatever. I don't know.
And just to what the comment said, all those guys are Masons. All those astronauts are Masons.
Yes,
Every single one of them is a high-ranked Freemason. So you're hanging out with high-ranked Freemason who are forced by oath to lie, to keep the lie, and to never shy away from it. So no matter, people are like, I had an astronaut on, and he said he saw the Earth from space. I'm like, yeah, if he doesn't, his head will be removed. Do a little research.
There's a lodge on the moon. If you go through the first 3 days, you can join the lodge on the moon. But you have to be a Mason. You have to be a Mason to join.
The moon's not a dusty, dirty rock. I'll tell you that much too. It's not.
Sean, if you want to stay around, we're going to open up. If you have time, you want to open up the phone lines, Tony? We can give people a call.
Sure,
maybe somebody wants to talk.
Lines. Yeah, this is Robert calling from Reno Sparks.
Robert.
Interesting topic from Mr. Hibbeler about flat Earth. And you mentioned something that makes me think that Earth is round, but I'm kind of agnostic too. I just believe the Earth is round and I accept it, but I'm not dogmatic about it. So what about Bumgarner jumping out of the ship 10 years ago, and you could see the curvature of the Earth in the background? What about that?
I'm gonna have them take the question. We're gonna go ahead and end the call and let them take the question. Okay.
Thank you, Robert. He's a longtime supporter. Thanks for calling, Robert.
It's a good question. The whole entire thing about Bumgarner is covered in the film, but I will explain this. They claim to go 23 miles up. We put a lot of pressure on, we meaning flat earthers, true earthers, we put a lot of public pressure on the heliocentric community with that because it was a fisheye lens used from the ground up. So we have footage of them on the ground and you see the same size curve as they go up. The curve's there the whole time. It's a fisheye lens and you look down out of the Red Bull jump. Naturally, you should do this, but it looks like Planet New Mexico, the entire curve of the Earth, and you look below, it's all New Mexico, and it's probably like 10% of the state of New Mexico, all curved in a giant sphere form. It's a fisheye lens. So we put pressure on the science community about that. We had viral videos going around that was BS. So guess what happens? Neil deGrasse Tyson, and this is in the film, Neil deGrasse Tyson had to do damage control. He got the call and said, look, man, everybody already exposed Red Bull. What are we doing? And he came out publicly at a big conference and said, you can't see the curve of the Earth from 23 miles up. That's a wide angle lens he has on. You can't see the curve from that high up. He also said the same damage control comment when Richard Branson went up to space, and that was 63 miles up. he still had to do damage control because we proved that they were using a fisheye lens. There is no curve without post-production, fisheye lens, or CGI. You have no curvature of the earth without those three things. Zero. Einstein, every single time you watch Einstein spitting his little knowledge, he's reading cue cards.
Yeah.
So it looks like people on TV now. It's this whole thing is a psyop, and they have these characters put forward. They have older characters from back in the day, Copernicus, and thousands of years ago. It's just a story. Someone wrote it and put in all the books. We're not advanced. This is one of the dumbest civilizations the world has ever seen. We're living in right now. This is an entire matrix system that is stupid. And what we think naturally, we're the quickest whipped of them all. Look at these horse and buggies in westerns back in the day. The western never happened. The horse and buggy, all this stuff is created to make you feel like you're more smarter than your ancient civilizations. History. They're not.
You guys got a call. Caller, you're live on the air.
Another call.
Hey, Mr. Wild Wolf, it's Dark Alley. And my question for the man himself here is, like, how did you explain those of us that have actually been in full-on launch facilities when he says, like, satellites, rockets aren't fake? You know, I'm with him that I agree we're not a spinning ball. But what do the lizard people call the shiny metal boxes and the flame bottles that they send up in the sky? Are they really just destroying them? Because I've physically been there. I've seen them all. It's not like they don't exist.
I never said they didn't.
I'll let him take that question there, Dark Alley. Thanks for the call, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for that's a good question. Hopefully I can clarify that for you, because I've never once said that the technology of satellites don't exist or the technology of rockets don't exist. Those are all there. So they do spend some of your tax money on building things. They have to continue to brainwash society. That's why they do a couple launches a year. But if you watch the rockets, whether it's SpaceX or NASA, they go up, they level out, and then they take off, and you don't see them anymore. So you have to have faith that they're going somewhere, even though they're not going to film it and show you. If you actually watch some of these rocket launches, you could see yourself how blatantly fake they are. No one's inside of them, and everything is post-production. I get that it's a stretch for some people that they would go this far into lying to everyone, but they have to. Once you realize they have to do that, or there is no magical space, they have to fake these things every year, once a year, twice a year. They have to put on the show. But watch a SpaceX or NASA rocket launch without cuts, without edits, without things chopped out in post-production. I'm a producer. I know it's post-production. I know they're not live. Okay, I know they're using green screens. I know how they layer all their videos.
Just wondering what the guest's take on the UFO phenomenon was with anti-gravity, and whether it's just all a man-made thing, and also if he thought that Alex Jones was mocking him or was actually in agreement with him when he was on San Triple.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for the question.
Thanks, Chris.
The first, what was the first part of the question? Sorry, I heard the second part, then I started focusing.
But he asked what you thought about UFOs. What's your view on UFOs?
Yeah, I mean, UFOs, again, for me, they're all man-made, or they're coming from the outer lands past Antarctica. Who knows? They could have stole the technology from them. If you read the Iron Republic, you'll understand what I mean by that. So they could have went out there, got some patents from them, took some images of that. There are advanced technology and advanced civilizations out there, in my opinion. Okay, from firsthand eyewitness testimony, from books in the 1800s, from Admiral Byrd himself. There's a lot of stuff going on we don't know about. And the second part of your question, well, actually, let me finish the alien thing. There's definitely a way for them to fake an alien invasion with their own UFO, with their own build, with their own machines, or their blue beam technology, their holograms. There's a lot of ways they can do this, and this is the final step for them, especially since what they're doing now is not really working anymore. But the second half of your question with Alex, I don't know Alex. I don't know him. Never talked to him before that day, never talked to him after that day. I know Eddie, I know Sam, I know Johnny and XG. And once I heard that everybody was going on the show to talk a little flat earth, and towards the last minute of it all, I found out Alex was on the show. I said, that doesn't bother me at all. I'm going to start to get on him about waking up to this. You have a huge audience. It seems a little bit weird to a lot of people that don't watch Alex. They're like, we don't watch him because he refuses to talk about this. Something's wrong with that. So that's their opinion. For me, I don't know if he was trying to make fun of me or if he was trying to do, I don't care. You saw my face. I'm focused. I'm serious. I don't got time for games with this shit. This is no time to play games anymore. We've been playing games with this topic since 2014, and I'm sick of it. So people need to get on board. If you don't get on board, you're scared. You're scared. That's all it is. You're just scared of the truth, and you don't want to let your ball go. You don't want to be ridiculed by your neighbors and your friends. You got to get over that. They won't take stuff down like this. They'll shadow ban it. They'll make it hard to find at times, especially for the normal everyday folk. They don't know that you have to sort by upload dates, exact words. There's certain things to beat YouTube's algorithm, but it's too difficult for the normal folk out there. They're just hit search flat. If you go to YouTube right now and type in flat Earth and search, you're going to get the same 20 videos that come up for whatever you type in. Flat Earth documentary, same results. Flat Earth sunsets, same results. It's all mainstream, hand-picked garbage to make the average person watching and go, oh, that's ridiculous. They're stupid. And then they move on. There's no critical thinking videos or any genuine people like myself or Eric or Dave or ODD or Santos or Tanner. None of us are speaking on the flat Earth. You won't find us. You won't find. Why? Because it got out of control in 2015. We were coming up. We had some of the biggest videos going viral on YouTube, flat earthers, and they quickly said, "What are we going to do? Damage control." And we talk on that in the film too. But it's crazy. It's crazy how they've covered this up. Every president that took office said, "We're going back to the moon soon, and we're going to Mars soon." Moon and Mars, moon and Mars, moon and Mars. Every single president through Biden
Trump
said that. Trump said the same thing. Sorry, guys.
It said 2024. It won't happen.
2024, they're going to say 2028. 2028, they're going to say
corner. Moon base. No, never happened.
As Dave McGowan said, and really, because we've already passed the 50th anniversary. He said, at what point, if it comes to the 100th anniversary, do people start questioning, wait a minute, it's been 100, we haven't been back? I mean,
can't even take a picture? Can't even do anything?
Technology doesn't work like that, but again, people, there's so many things they don't question. So this is really just part of the larger, everything we're talking about politically that Tony and I talk about a lot. I mean, this is really in the same realm. People, if they're not willing to question, some of the more mundane stuff, they're not willing to question magic bullets and, magic passports appearing on, in a certain event, things like that. They're not willing to do that, and they're prosecuting people for questioning things, their events.
Or two planes taking down 7 buildings. Get back to me when someone can figure that out. But we can abolish the Antarctic Treaty, and we can go over there all together. Billions of us go over there and see what's going on. We have that right as human beings. Well, people don't care that right has been taken from you. They don't care. They just don't care. I don't care. I got work tomorrow.
Well, you have some guts to be able to, because this is not, I'm used to bringing up unpopular subjects. Well, I used to anyhow. Now, nobody cares. I'm not talking about it for free at parties anymore. But, I used to bring this, but I would hesitate to bring up flat Earth, because it's like, okay, this is going to be maybe the most extreme thing I can say. This is going to mess with their worldview more than anything.
I love bringing it up. Here's the best way to bring it up. Can I tell you the best way to bring it up without saying the Earth's flat?
Sure.
Okay. The best way to bring it up is just say, I was thinking about something. I'm a big science guy, and you agree with me that all water finds and maintains its own level, right? Obviously, you pour water in a bathtub, it's level. You pour water in. You look at a lake. It's just laying there level.
Right.
And the stranger or the acquaintance would say, yeah, I agree with that. All water's level. It's like, the Earth is 72% water covered, level water. And they go, oh yeah, well that's true. Yeah, it's like, okay, just leave it there. That's a littlest seed you can plant for someone. You make them admit, without thinking you're talking about flat Earth, that all water finds and maintains level. And then you tell them, well, most of the world's covered in water, 70 to 80% of the world's water. So where do you come up with this bending water space ball? And then the first place they'll go to is, well, I saw the picture. It was on my iPhone when the iPhone came out. There's, the blue planet. It's right there. It's right there. So that's why I believe. So once they can get over the images are photoshopped, and then it's stepping stones along the way. They've made it very hard for. You can't just wake someone up like this, Don, to this topic. There's no way. That's why I make films. Someone that's going to lie about putting a car in space and continue the heliocentric nonsense theory, I can't trust. You're a liar. You are a liar. So once you lie to me once, I'm done. Just like anybody, acquaintances, you're a fucking lie. You just lie to my face like that, then I can't trust anything you say ever again. And no one should. No one should. If you're gonna lie, catch me in a lie. You're not gonna do that. Because I'm a good person. I have a good heart. I fight for truth. I'm not gonna lie. I might give you my opinion, and my opinion could be wrong sometimes, sure. But I'm not blatantly lying to you in the world. But they are. So I can't trust anything a liar's doing, especially a fraud. No. That's a whole nother story.
Well, and the people that are skeptical, if we're skeptical and we're asking questions, you're proposing an alternate theory for alternate reality of what they tell you is actually the world. They have a vested interest. You don't have because I don't think you're going to get a lot of money out of this if suddenly, well, okay, we admit the earth is flat. I don't think they're going to give you out awards, but
no, some of the community will support me. Some of the community will support me. They'll rent it on Vimeo, or they'll download it from my website to support. That's only going to go back into part 3.
We all know how much this alt media pays. That's not nobody's in it to be rich. That's for sure. But
if I can survive off it, great, because then I can continue making truth films and put stuff out there. That's all I care about. Just to get by, man. I don't need anything fancy. That's how I am, anyways.
Sean, again, anything you want to sum up and promote again? Give out your links again, and I really appreciate you coming on. It's a great show. Fantastic information.
Yeah, I appreciate both you guys for having me on and being fair hosts. And I'd love to do more shows like this. If any of your colleagues needs to speak about this topic or wants to kind of go down that route, send them my way. I'll be glad to speak to them about anything. And I wouldn't even care if someone's trying to troll me or something. The truth doesn't need investigation. It doesn't fear investigation. And the truth, it stands on its own 2 legs. So I'm not scared of any questions ever. So, but yeah, for the audience, if you're already on Rokfin and you're a subscriber of Don's or of mine, just go to Rokfin and watch The Next Level. If you're not a subscriber of Rokfin, you should be. But if you're not, then go to the nextlevel2022.com, and there's different ways to stream it and download it. This is the perfect opportunity for someone that's against the system. They know they lied about New York event. They might know they lied about the Boston event and all the others like that. They know about the current event going on is bullshit, or maybe half bullshit for them at least. Well, yeah. You're ready for this now. Go to Rokfin, watch The Next Level if you're already on Rokfin. If you're not on Rokfin, subscribe to my Rokfin. If you're not going to subscribe to Rokfin, it is on Vimeo on demand as well. I do have a standard definition version on YouTube. But
that's good. Well, this show live streams on Rokfin. We do a lot of work here. Great stuff here. Lots of great people here. You got to support platforms like this. But you're right. I think it's taking that next step. Is that why? And I don't when people say, you can't limit yourself. I hate it. I'm a free thinker, and I hate it when people say, well, you can't go there. You can't talk about the Holocaust. You can't talk about this. I want to be able to talk about everything. I don't focus on any one particular thing, but this issue is huge.